Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and it's Monday, time for a Facebook Live. I apologize that I wasn't here last week. It was haircut day, and then the whole week just got away from me, so I'm here today. That happens sometimes. So the cards, I hope you are having a fabulous week. I know if you're in the south, you've had bad weather. Where we are, we have snow and more snow and just cold. But it's not bad. It's pretty outside. It's just cold. So today we're going to use a new set, new to me. So that means it's new to you. I think it's in this catalog called Beautiful Butterflies. Let's double check. It might be an online exclusive. No, it's in here on page 39. You can get this as a suite. There's some examples of cards you can make. You can get it as a suite where you would get the stamp set, the dies, an embossing folder, sprinkles, so if you want to make shaker cards, and then the bokeh paper. So there's lots of things that, and of course that's an option, but you can also just buy the buy it separate. So if you just want the stamp set, the dies, the embossing folder, then you would just buy that separate. You would get the stamp set, the embossing folder, and the dies if you buy the bundle. If you buy the suite, you get everything here. So let's get started. I've got two cards that we're going to make today. I'll show you the ones I made. This is the first one. And the thing is, I made these cards last week. And it uses this Bloom Impressions, I think is DSP. That's a celebration item, and it's sold out. So I thought I would show it to you using different paper. So here you can see the embossing folder, and then the pretty butterfly. And then the second one, it's the same Bloom Impressions paper. This is a single layer card, and this is how this works. So I thought that was cute. So we'll get started, and we'll make two pretty quick cards today. In this you get, let me see, you get all kinds of things. You get all these stamps, some little dots for texture, and time to celebrate, happy birthday, in case you need me, I'm here, and so thankful for you. And then you get lots of dies that match 3 different bodies, match some of the stamp sets, and match the sentiments. Let's hope we've got all our pieces here for this today. So let's see what's here. And this one happens to be here. Now this is a hybrid. Let me show you that. We're not going to use that part. Hi, Rosalind. Thanks for popping in. But if you wanted to, then since this is a hybrid, it will also emboss and cut at the same time. And I don't know if you could hear that. I'll be real quiet when I put it in there. You hear it click, you know it's in the right place. And then you could when you cut this and emboss it, you'll get an embossed butterfly all cut out for you. That's a pretty cool thing. If we have extra time, we might consider that. So we're going to emboss this, put this out of the way. No, I'll need it. Now, the trick is here, you're going to want your embossed big butterfly kind of in the center of your card. It doesn't have to be perfect, because of course it can be flying a little bit. So we'll just move it until we think we've got it in the right place. Not quite. That looks like it'll be pretty. I think, though, I will bring it down just a tiny bit. Yeah. Now, when I run that through the cut and emboss, we'll have our butterfly right there. Gotta switch plates. And now we've got our pretty butterfly right there. That's just, you know, that would make a beautiful sympathy card, just plain, or use white or the very vanilla. I think it would be very pretty. Now you'll notice when I chose these papers, I think when you pick a designer series paper to cut the butterflies, you want one that has small designs, because when you cut it, then you don't really notice what the design on the paper is. So I went through and looked at all kinds of things, and this is what I chose. It's the Simply Zinnia paper. So we will die cut our butterfly. And we want it to be this detailed butterfly here. You'll have lots of chads when you're through. So we'll run this through the cut and emboss. Now, even though this is a detailed die, I really think you might be able to cut 2 at a time, because it cuts so well. Half of the little chads fall out and stay on your cutting pad, on your Big Shot, on your cut and emboss, not Big Shot. That's a blast from the past, wasn't it? And we'll punch out all these so they won't get all over the floor. You could use that as confetti in a card. Let's see, that still comes out very pretty, doesn't it? We'll go ahead and punch those out, so we'll use that again. So this is pretty quick. Especially if you could cut 2 at a time, you could get 2 cards done very quickly. Now we'll go ahead and put our card together, have a regular vertical card, and then I went ahead and cut this at the same size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. to give it a good, nice border. It's always hard for me to, that came out pretty good, didn't it? I will add this. The fun thing, you know, I didn't use any ribbon or twine on these cards. That's a bit real unusual for me. I think that's because it's embossed, it's hard to tell. I got tape on there. Not even a lot of dimensionals either. Not sure I use any dimensionals. And then our little butterfly goes right there. Now you'll see his body. You can kind of see it. I believe it needs to be this larger. Oh, yeah. Now I couldn't decide. This has a little Blackberry Bliss, and it has, of course, this Poppy Parade. I thought that might be too dark, but we'll cut 2 of them, and we'll decide which one looks the best. It might be best to just stick with the Poppy Parade and not introduce a new color. It's a hard decision. Hi, Mary. I know it is a cold and snowy day, isn't it? Actually, that looks pretty nice. I just wasn't sure. No, I like the Blackberry Bliss. We can have extra body hanging around. So we can add this to our card front. We only have to glue down this little part. And try to kind of line it up. That looks pretty good. Now when we put our body on there, that'll also hold it down some. Is that a thorax? I'm not sure about my insect parts these days. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. And now we're ready for our sentiment. Maybe we should use the Blackberry Bliss. Let me get that. That makes sense, doesn't it? Have the, bring in that 3rd color. Of course, this will just be on some scrap here with the hopes that we can stamp it fairly straight. It just says happy birthday. But this is awfully bright for a sympathy card, but if you used more muted tones, I think this would be a beautiful sympathy card. That's pretty amazing. Sorry, I was off screen there, but I think if I had been on screen, you would have seen my head. And we'll just give these little angled snips. And if you wanted to do mermaid tails, you could. Here's our little bit of dimensional. And look, I can use the edges here on this one. Oh, hi, Polly. Thank you. I think these are pretty bright cards. We need this pretty bright spring cards when we're still stuck in the winter. We'll put that here. And let's see, I pulled a couple things and felt like this one, Regal Foil Dots, might be pretty. They're kind of pink, but they're kind of, I think they go with it enough. So we'll give it a try. We could use this darker. It kind of looks, we'll see. Oh, I like these. Maybe the next one I make. And that's our first little card. Be pretty to splatter some Wink of Stella on there, but I don't think we'll do that. Now we need the inside, and I chose this Time to Celebrate. And let's see, so we'll do that. Look at this. Have you ever done that before? We just have upside down card. I do that about once a year. I'll fix it. All you have to do is cut it off and put it on another card. But I'll show you how I'm going to do the inside anyway. I sure should have checked that. Rookie mistake. I have been known to send them even though they're upside down. And then I pulled one of the butterflies to put on the inside too. So I'll stamp one of these butterflies. That came out pretty good. Looks like that could be re-inked, doesn't it? I love upside down cards. Now you do have two choices here. I'll show you. You can just cut this off and add it to a new card. If you are concerned about that being heavy, then you could take your heat gun and melt the tape and it will peel right off. But you do have to heat it up. So those are your choices. To me, I think the easiest thing will be to cut it off. Sometimes when you do the heat gun trick, it kind of warps your paper. Now this one came out the correct way. I must have been paying attention that day. So here's our second card, bright and cheery in yellow. But this time we're going to use, since this paper is sold out, we're going to use this pretty paper from the new mixed media package of paper. And so our butterfly color scheme will be this. And so we're going to do it this way. So we have just a solid piece, 1 4¼ by 5½ sheet of thick basic white. And that's this one. We're going to mount this on Garden Green. And then our piece of designer series paper. This mixed media is pretty. It has a couple florals, but then it has some black and whites that are always real versatile. Hopefully we won't make this one upside down, so since it doesn't open. This does have a direction, so you want to pay attention to that when we put our card together. And we'll die cut our butterfly. And see, because it's a small enough pattern, once you die cut this, you really won't notice that it's even what kind of flowers those are. I will say, with this cold and snowy weather, I have gotten a lot of cards made. So it's too cold to do much of anything else. I am going to try to get out for a walk this afternoon. I think we're about ready to get this out of here. Forgot to put these in my little tray. Doesn't want to come out. Once you get one little area started, it'll pop right out. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Push all those out of the way. What a mess. Now we're going to make our butterfly layer here, and I'll show you how that works. I don't know what to call it there. I'll save that one. So here's your die cut, and you'll notice it has these little they're indentations. Actually, it looks like they would cut, but it's really just a marker. It's really a dent in the die, so you know where to line it up, because you want to line it up on the fold. Now you have a choice, like they did in the catalog. They did a card just like this, and then it folded over, and then your card was half butterfly and half regular card. But I wanted mine to be butterfly at top and bottom. So you want to just make sure that you're right at the edge of your fold. Don't go over. You can do that if you happen to accidentally go over. You can just patch it with a piece of cardstock, and probably nobody would ever notice that you did that. But we don't want to have to make another mistake today. So I do want to line that up, make sure it doesn't move, so it's right on my fold. And you see, you can't see it, so you know you're safe. is tough because you're doing 2 layers. So you're going to have some arm strength there. There we go. So now we have our butter. We have to trim that there. And then pop this out. Now we're going to operate on this butterfly. We're going to cut his head off because it doesn't quite match up with the body of the thorax of our die cut one. So we're just going to take that and cut his head off. Off with your head. Sounds pretty awful, doesn't it? Now, because some of that tape residue got on there, I'm going to use this, the back side for my front. And I didn't want it to just be solid white. So do you see how I use, on this one I use some Lemon Lolly, and so this one we're going to use some Pretty in Pink. And just give it a little blush. But if you like it to be white, you can leave it that way. I only have to do these little edge parts. I love blending brushes. I probably use blending brushes and blends the most. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now on our, behind our pretty butterfly, we're going to use Flirty Flamingo and just cut out a solid butterfly. Now that'll go there. This will go here. But again, I'm going to cut his antlers off because when we put our die cut body, if we want it, it will have antlers or antlers. I don't know what those are called. Feelers. It'll have feelers. And, oh, I was going to say, I don't remember what color. I picked azure because there is a little bit of azure there. I will tell you here, well, once we get this going, if you, whatever sentiment you choose to use, you just want to make sure that it's not going to show. That's why we had to cut his head off, so that when you put that there, your sentiment won't be peeking out from behind your butterfly. Which it did on my little yellow one, and then I realized my mistake. So we'll go ahead and stamp this on the inside with Azure Afternoon. I do need to clean this one off because it has Blackberry Bliss on it. We don't want to mix those colors. I love when I have on black pants. I can just wipe this off on my pants. Hope that makes it there. Yep. While we've got that open, we'll go ahead and do our happy birthday. Clean that off a little bit. You know, if you haven't made an upside down card, you've not made enough cards, because everybody makes an upside down card sooner or later. Oh, that's pretty crooked. I knew it. There we go. That's better. Now we're ready to just put our little card together. We can move all of this out of the way now. So here's our card base. We want to make sure we've got it going the right direction. And then this will go right there. I'm going to use Tombow on that part to hold it down. The little hinge. Might have to go on the internet and Google butterfly body parts and see what I'm sure they're not called antlers. I think they're antenna. That's just a tiny dab. A dot is a lot. That's our motto. There we go. Now this one will get put on here. This is really bright and colorful, isn't it? We are going to glue these wings down lightly. Make it easier to get in the envelope. Sorry, let me get up here. Gosh, that's pretty. Now we can fold that one. I don't know, when it goes through the mail, it might not pop. It should pop back up. How's that? I did not plan to put any bling on this one, but if you wanted to, you could. But it's awfully busy, so I think I'd just leave it alone. And then we'll put our little happy birthday down here. Let's see if I have another. I do have another edge piece. Use all those little pieces of dimensional. When we have free shipping, but dimensionals and basic white are what I order for free shipping, because it's something I know I'll always use. Looks pretty centered. At least we didn't do this one upside down. Oh. So how'd you like these cards? I think they're pretty. So this one is, see how I didn't realize, but I don't think it shows too bad. And then we have this one. Let's see where our upside down card is. And here's our upside down card. I think the yellow is my favorite, but I really like this one because it's so bright. I don't know. Which one's your favorite? They're all pretty, aren't they? All right. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye.